Our Day 3 coverage is presented by Dreamfinders Homes. The draft room, quiet for the moment. A couple of 7th-round picks coming up, but not quiet moments ago with a pair of 6th-round picks in the books. Jalen McLeod, a linebacker out of Auburn, played at the buck position there, a hybrid spot. We'll get more of that coming up. That was in the 6th round at 194th overall. Then at 200 overall in the 6th round, Rayuan Lane III, a safety out of Navy. Spent his entire career at Navy, had offers to leave after 2 years, decided to stay in Annapolis and finish it out with the midshipmen. And the man who made those picks, James Gladstone, is with Kai Stevens live. Kai?
Yes, he is, James. We got these 2 picks in the 6th round. Obviously, at this point, not necessarily players the average person is going to know a ton about. How much do you lean on your scouts, your area guys, trying to find more pieces to the puzzle?
Oh, you know what? This was not unlike the early portion of the draft in that it took a collaborative effort to get us to our decisions. But, you know, in particular with these 2, there was certainly a lot of conviction from both ends. But when we think about Rayuan, it was really unique in our meetings over the last month and even previous to that, right? Our cross-check scout, Josh Scobie, who played the position in the NFL, stood on the table, so to speak, for him. So, you know, we leaned into that conviction and let him make that phone call because I knew that that was going to be a pretty special moment. Obviously, it's up to Rayuan here to bring his vision to life, so to speak. But, you know, he was certainly an entertaining player to watch over the course of his career there at Navy. He had some ops to go to other schools along the way and stayed loyal, stayed with Navy till the finish. And when you turn on his special teams tape, it's something that catches the eye, and we look forward to seeing him be activated there early in the down.
Are these both 2 guys where you might see some roles on special teams for them?
Yeah, I think that's fair to assume. You know, really also with Jalen, like, he transferred up from Appalachian State, and that's something, you know, when a guy goes from a smaller school to a bigger school and you still see that production carry over, it means something. Very similar with Vashal earlier in the day. It means something to us. We know that that's translatable, and, you know, the versatility that Jalen provides is something that we've sort of leaned on throughout this draft at each pick point. But for him in particular, he can stand up, he can get on the line of scrimmage, and, you know, his urgency and competitiveness, his play demeanor is something that is captivating, and we're certainly looking forward to getting him out on the grass and with his new teammates here soon.
As we look at these final 2 picks, is the focus just trying to wait till you get to that point and then see what people really want to do, or are you looking at maybe some people that might go undrafted? Where's the focus at this point in the draft?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. It's a complex system. It's dynamic. But, you know, in the lead up to those 2 picks in particular, we've been talking about that. We've had a stretch here to sort of sit back and watch it all play out, but those 2 were top of mind, and we're glad we were able to land them, and now we got 2 more on the horizon before we get into the undrafted college free agent process.
And we'll go over everything when we wrap up.
Looking forward to it.
All right, James Gladstone with Kai Stevens after the 2 picks in the 6th round. All right, guys, J.P. Shadrick, Brian Sexton, John Oehser with the instant analysis here. And let's start with Jalen McLeod, John, the linebacker out of Auburn. As he mentioned there, started at Appalachian State, went down to the Plains, and then that production continued, pass rush ability. But he played that hybrid position, John, where he stood up on early downs, and then they moved him into a 3-point stance on pass rushing downs, and 24 tackles for loss in 24 games. That's production.
Well, I'll let you talk about him a little bit because I know you had some of his games. What you notice is that his pass rush numbers held up once he got to Auburn. I think he had 8.5 last year.
Yeah, that's right.
So they like production, these guys. There's versatility, and he's sort of your ideal late-round pick, right, Brian? He has some potential to do some things where you're on the field, and yet it feels like they know he's going to contribute on special teams right away. That's sort of the blue book for that.
Seems to be a guy, and generally these linebackers late in the draft, these edge guys are guys with very specific roles. They identified something that they liked in him. Campanelli's new defense fits him somewhere, and that's where they're going to plug him in.
And then we go to Navy, and Lane, the safety, 4-year starter at Navy, Brian, that's never a bad leadership quality to have.
Listen, the theme of the quality of person, the culture setting tempo of these guys comes shining through. The guy's studying qualitative or quantitative, one of those 2, economics. The workload that goes into being just a midshipman is heavy enough for a young man, but to be a midshipman and an athlete at the same time, obviously the ability to balance those things just shines through. And they're looking for a very specific type of person to come in here and raise the quality, the culture level. That's what this guy does.
Here's what we have in common. I once took an economics class. So that's.
Do you know
where
whether it was qualitative or quantitative?
It was very low level. Is what
I can't keep up with personal economics.
Right.
Come on, John.
So, it does speak. He had a chance to go elsewhere, and probably elsewhere may have helped his draft status over time. Chose to stay at Navy, so it's the kind of guy you want. And again, the people who watch this, they sort of know that the themes late in the draft, if you're not taking a developmental quarterback or a developmental offensive lineman, then you're talking about a special teams guy. And you're talking about a guy who you hope probably doesn't have to play in the 22 the first year, and hope that by year 2, you're talking about him pushing somebody. So that's what these two guys are.
Well, safety is obviously an area of concern. You're getting a little older there with Dewey. And you don't have Andre Sisco anymore, so you need bodies. You need guys who can come in and compete.
Well, now it's 2 safeties in the last, 4 or 5 picks.
Yeah.
You knew there was a group of positions they were going to focus on. Edge, lineman, offensive lineman. You knew safety was going to be in that corner they took care of on some level with Travis Hunter. So within the context, it's funny, JP and Brian, you guys, we've done this a long time. Everybody thinks the draft ends on day 1. Over time, they're doing what they needed to do.
All right, 6th-round picks are in the books. Jalen McLeod, linebacker from Auburn. Rayuan Lane, the safety out of Navy. The Jaguars do have 2 7th-round picks, 221st overall, 236th overall. Our next time live will be in our full draft recap show coming up a little bit later tonight. Check out all the press conferences, phone calls with the media, all that coming up as well on Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. But of course, tune in to the remainder of the NFL draft. Only a little bit longer left on the NFL Network.